absolutely. Listen, he was my number 2 quarterback in the class. And I comped him to Randall Cunningham. I comped him to Colin Kaepernick. And both of those guys went round 2. So I thought that he might be the second or third quarterback off the board if I was Arizona, because you could slow walk him to where he can start maybe next year, learn from behind Jacoby Brissett. So when you look at Taylor Green and those receiver tosses, anytime they see someone that looks like Taylor Green that runs fast, they automatically want to move the receiver. But the caveat is like, whoa, Matt Jones. No. They do this with all quarterbacks that look like Taylor Green. But when you look at him, he doesn't move or run like a wide receiver. He is a quarterback. He worked with Bobby Petrino for 2 straight seasons. He got better as a quarterback at Arkansas than he was at Boise State. So there's a lot here. And I was asked this question earlier today. What do you think about?
And I just want to say, Emory Hunt has been coming with that heat since, I would say, last summer. In particular, when it comes to the quarterback position, Shedeur Sanders, and the perceived agenda and the bias that is going on with Shedeur. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And I want to say more commentators need to come straight up the middle like Emory is doing right here. We're not going to let these people slide anymore with the nonsense. I've heard them talking about moving Green over to the wide receiver position. He's a fast guy. But that's a good backup to have. Now, I wouldn't mind him coming in for gadget plays and things like that. Goal line, wildcat, that's what's up. We can do that. But that's all mixed in to the whole historic fear of a black quarterback. The hysteria that you are seeing coming from local Cleveland media as well as big corporate national media about Shedeur Sanders, that's tied into it. That's their worst nightmare. That is the train coming down the tunnel when it comes to white football fans. Those that believe in white supremacy, I should say. And what's going on is you are seeing the college game and the NFL game become more and more balanced. So they are still throwing out old tropes. I've talked to you about Mary Cabot and the rest of the Cleveland media.
That's spelled with a K.
Mary Kay getting clowned by Todd Monken at that press conference the other day. She continues to inject nonsense about the quarterback position and Shedeur Sanders, questioning his ability to learn, but not questioning Dylan Gabriel's ability to learn when Gabriel is obviously much, much, much worse, was having trouble reading with the check down Charlie type ish going on. She got clowned the other day at the press conference with Todd Monken. So listen, the white supremacist suspects are not going to stop when it comes to the hatred, not only of Shedeur Sanders, but of black quarterbacks in general. Sometimes they lie and they wait and they wait. They wait for a black quarterback to get a twisted ankle, or they wait for his girlfriend to chase him out of the hotel with a champagne bottle. Then they act like that's the end of his career. Fear of the black quarterback is what is going on here. Where? In the white supremacist controlled media, the white supremacist fandom, and the NFL, which has a lot of white supremacists secretly crawling in the woodwork in NFL headquarters and team governorship. That's our opinion.
I need to see. I saw it last year in the draft. I felt like he had more power last year in the draft. He nailed it. I'm thrilled to see that he was given a second chance, because there was a lot of talk that he should be gone too. If you're going to fire the coach, fire the GM. They gave Andrew Berry a second bite of the apple.
Okay, the quote, a lot of talk about firing the GM, Andrew Berry, along with that incompetent coach, Kevin Stefanski, was coming from the Shedeur haters. They were mad that Shedeur got the nod to be the starter, and they wanted Berry out of the door, not because Berry was doing a bad job. He did a great job in the draft last year and did a better job this year, but because they are embarrassed about their support for Kevin Stefanski, not to mention they are throwing red meat to their hateful anti-Shedeur audience.
He nailed it, and I don't think there's any coincidence at all that Paul DePodesta wasn't in the room.
Now, I've heard, and I heard guy,
I don't do the. Yeah, I got sore stuff with Sprite. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That is the almost to a T, the exact same thing that when you dig around, people say Andrew Berry did not have the level of say-so, and Paul DePodesta fell out with Jimmy Haslam prior to last year's draft. Andrew Berry was given an opportunity to take hold of that draft and to see what he can do. Now, if he would have not hit on that draft, he would have actually been out too.
I agree.
But they gave him another opportunity to see what he could do in this year's draft as well, the reason when he stayed. And so for me, the thing I look at with this situation is just go back and look at the profile of the players, right? This is all you need to know. Look at the profile. The Taylor Green pick, 6'6". You know, guys, remember, we rarely were getting people from prominent schools. Remember, we used to, with the Browns, we say, what? Why would you get a dude like Anthony Schwartz who only runs reverses in college and then be confused why he can't catch the football? Like the profile. Look at the guys that we just talked about. Guys from the SEC. Guys who played 40, 50 games. High profile guys from Power 5 conferences.
Just going to add in here, it's obvious that Andrew Berry is a football guy. Andrew Berry is drafting football players. Andrew Berry, not saying that he does not pay attention to the analytics, they are important, but the problems are gone. DePodesta and Stefanski. And the problems that many people have right now with the Browns is that there is a black man in the GM position and a black quarterback. Let's be honest. We are going to keep going.
And just the philosophy of who they're going after is completely different. So, yes, do I think Andrew Berry had a little bit of say-so in terms of the scouting and different things like that? Sure, I do when DePodesta here. But you cannot, it's undeniable that DePodesta had his fingerprints on a lot of the things that the Browns did, especially when it came to players and player acquisition. So I agree. I do believe that it's a different strategy, and Andrew Berry has more say-so.
Listen, I hardly want to defend Paul DePodesta. The Browns should never have hired him. It wasn't a smart move by the Browns, and it took them way too long for either him to want to leave or for the Browns to push him out. But I find it preposterous that we're going to say, well, he was still here last year, but last year he had no say. Every other year, it was all him, and this year there was none him. Except for the Dylan Gabriel pictures, we'll blame Kevin Stefanski for that. We'll blame DePodesta for every bad draft pick, and Andrew Berry's a genius because he made all the good draft picks and none of the bad ones. I have also heard that nothing's changed. The Browns still have the biggest analytics department. This idea what they're not going with analytics, Andrew Berry is 100% an analytics guy.
To be clear, I never said that this was an abandonment of analytics.
I don't think they've. Well,
this was the person. This was more, to me, this was more the person.
Nah, I don't buy that.
You're still using analytics. Everybody uses analytics. And, of course, they're not going to divorce themselves from that or pivot on that overnight.
So let me just finish my point, because you guys went on. I didn't interrupt you guys.
I just wanted to clear up. Okay, in no way am I saying this is a pivot from analytics. That's not what I said.
All right, so then you'll tell me what the difference is.
I'll tell you what the difference is.
Yeah.
The difference now is they have a guy that is in the driver's seat to unequivocally make the decisions that an organization needs to make.
Yeah.
And his background has been football.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Who? Andrew Berry?
Yes.
His background's not football. His background's analytics.
His background's football, Paul. I'm talking about sports. Everybody knows that. Everyone does analytics. You can
not everybody does analytics.
Yes,
not
they do. Every NFL team has an analytics
not
department.
Not to the level that the Browns do.
And that's even questioned.
It's not questioned. They have the largest department in the league.
We've been saying that for the last 3 or 4 years. In the meantime, the other teams have beefed up their analytics department. We don't know
Zach Jackson just told us.
I know he did, and I've heard other guys say that too, but I've had other people in the NFL that cover all 32 teams tell me that this nonsense that the Browns are leading the analytics parade is a myth. It's a farce.
The Browns have
Other teams have just as
ahead,
big,
Mike.
if not bigger, analytics department.
according to an ESPN survey heading into the 2025 season, the Browns had 3 more analytics people on their staff than any other team in the NFL.
Okay, how many do they have?
14.
Okay, so in general, you're talking about just about all of them have double-digit guys.
Okay.
They're all bigger
So
staffs.
the Browns
And
have
Bull,
the biggest. The Browns have the biggest analytics department.
Bull, every team uses analytics. I don't want my point to be
Okay,
twisted.
you argued.
But
they have the biggest department.
But, Bull, I don't want my point to be twisted. My point
Yeah.
is not that this is a pivot from analytics. I want to be very clear about that. That is not what I'm saying at all.
And before we continue, I am calling fair use on this. It seems that Bull is just frustrated that Andrew Berry didn't get fired. He's one of the ones that seems to have hatred in his heart for Andrew Berry. Let's go.
Well, the bottom
What
line.
I'm saying is how they apply those analytics. And I've always said analytics are a big part of it, but it's how you use them.
Okay. To me, Andrew Berry, Paul DePodesta, I don't buy that he was ever bigfooting Andrew Berry. I think they work together collaboratively. I still think they do. I think ultimately Andrew
They don't
Berry.
anymore.
I think ultimately Andrew Berry always had the final say on things, unless Jimmy has.
I still think they do. This guy's completely and totally lost and out of touch. DePodesta was fired a long time ago, during the season, to be exact.
Got involved, which he probably did at times. And I just don't. Maybe Andrew Berry's getting better at his job.
Possibly.
Maybe that's just it.
Possibly.
To try to make this a whole thing like it was all him and Andrew Berry's the smart guy and he's been held back. That's just there's no facts to back that up.
I would second that. That's an unfair characterization.
But that's what you guys are saying.
I never said it was all Paul DePodesta's fault.
Why are you
Never.
making it seem that way?
Here's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
okay? And in terms of bigfooting, there's a flow chart for a reason. And just to be clear here, Andrew Berry was unquestionably on the downside of that flow chart from Paul DePodesta.
Well, so everybody's on the downside of the flow chart from
Yes.
the owner.
Yeah.
And it could always be a big
But
foot.
this is the way it was described to me by multiple people. There have always been, and I don't know why other organizations aren't like this, but I'm told that there's always been this sort of survivor, almost a game show mentality about the power structure in the Browns organization. I use the word survivor because that's the way it was described to me by somebody who knows.
Yeah.
And they said it didn't quite make sense because it wasn't necessarily like the owner was pitting one against the other. But what the culture was this. There's going to be a clear-cut winner from everybody. We saw it in the coaching room when Greg Williams, you remember when there was, it was almost like they were picking the meat off the carcass of Hugh Jackson. And it was public. These guys were feuding in public.
Even with Stefanski, Stefanski at one point in time, because he was coach of the year, had more pull than even Andrew Berry in certain
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps.
Paul DePodesta had more say-so at period of time. He's a chief strategy
know
officer.
that. I don't believe Paul DePodesta ever picked the players. He put the systems in place that they used to follow, and I think they still do. Maybe they've gotten better at it as an organization of having to tweak those numbers to get where they want to be. But this blanket idea that
DePodesta was fired for a reason. And I believe that reason is he had some input on some of those terrible draft picks, in particular Dylan Gabriel.
Andrew Berry was being held back. I just don't buy that. Andrew Berry, in my opinion, did a terrible job as GM. He was an awful GM. He drafted well last year, some improvement.
Now, he said held back twice. That sounds like a code word, a dog whistle, saying that they might be trying to say that it's racism or something like that. Let's go.
I think he drafted well this year. I don't want to see if you're an Andrew Berry person, don't give me pats on the back now. Give me pats on the back when they finish the season with more than 5 wins.
Let me ask you a question. So if
They'd better.
They still don't have a quarterback, in my opinion.
In terms of Andrew Berry.
And there it is. They still don't have a quarterback, in my opinion. No, they have 1, 2, 3 good quarterbacks and a bum in Dylan Gabriel. Now, the guy they drafted, Green, he's a project. He's not going to be ready, but I believe that Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback for the future from here on out. And now he has weapons and an offensive line around him and a coach that believes in him. I cannot wait for this season to start so people like Bull Gravano can be proven wrong.
Kevin Stefanski was gone. D. Podesta was gone.
Yeah.
What would be the reason why Andrew Berry was the last person standing? If they didn't believe, if they believed he was just as much as culpable as the rest of the two, why was he the only one here, and why did he get more power?
Excellent question. Excellent point by G. Bush.
D. Podesta, we don't know that he got more power.
Oh yeah.
He definitely had more power.
We in terms of the draft, we don't know that specifically. We don't know that at all. But Paul D. Podesta left. He wasn't fired.
No.
And this idea that he had nothing to do with last year's draft. Well, why didn't they just fire him?
I think he was forced out.
But I think there is a correlation.
Then why did they fire him?
I think there's absolutely a correlation between the two. I think Paul D. Podesta is a smart enough guy. He realized the gig was up.
Yeah.
I've been
Then
found
why
out.
did they fire him if it was up? If they all of a sudden
You know what would have
he had
happened?
so much power.
Ultimately, what would have happened was he would have been fired. He was dead man walking, and he knew it. That's why he ran off to the worst baseball organization to become their GM.
I don't know.
Saw an opening and he took it.
If the guy got completely neutered, as you say, then I just don't understand why they wouldn't have fired him.
That's why he left. Okay. And perhaps there was a conversation. We'll never know. Perhaps there was a conversation where they said, "Start looking."
And just to show what Bull Gravano knows, Andrew Berry played cornerback at Harvard University. He has a deep football background. He was a 4-year starter, 3-time All-Ivy League selection, and earned All-American honors, totaling 125 tackles and 5 interceptions. Played at Harvard for 3 years, 2005 to 2008. Berry was a 4-year letterman and cornerback for the Crimson. Accolades: he was a 3-time first-team All-Ivy League pick and an FCS Athletic Director Association Scholar Athlete of the Year. Academic excellence: he was a 2-time first-team academic All-American, graduating with a bachelor's degree in economics and a master's in computer science. So he's a smart guy with a football background. What in the hell is Bull Gravano talking about? Nothing. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Bull Gravano just sat here and said he's not a football guy in Andrew Berry. This is hatred on a high level. Butthurt on an even higher level. He is mad because Andrew Berry is getting the props that he should have got from Jump Street, because he should have been the one making the decisions, obviously. I mean, that resume. That's the first time I've even looked up anything on Andrew Berry. Ivy League guy, played at Harvard, had a good career as a football player, is a brainiac, an academic scholar, an academic All-American. That's the guy that you want leading this team. That's why his picks are looking good. We finally got the problems up out of here in D. Podesta and Kevin Stefanski. So somebody as smart and intelligent as Andrew Berry, they took one look at what was going on with Shedeur Sanders and he smelled the BS. That's why they made the moves that they made. Jimmy Haslam, you have the right guy as general manager of your team. So these haters, they will continue to move the goalposts, and we will continue to document what they have said and done. You all let me know what you think. Raw Status TV.